This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles, on the Rockstar Radio Network. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money, and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and the Book Shepherd on the Rockstar Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, it's a fabulous day here in Colorado. We had a little rain this morning, and we're getting ready for the extravaganza, which is only 2.5 weeks away, and we are at almost sold out, which is exciting. Now, I guess we can say now we're international because we have someone from England, someone from Australia, a couple of folks coming from Canada, someone from Mexico, and then, of course, all over the United States. So if you want to really know about book publishing, if you really want to learn how to market your book so it can rock and roll, not only do you listen to our show, but you also get yourself to Denver. There are 4 spots left for the Thursday night deep dive dinner workshop with John Kramer. And we have 20 spots, maybe not quite 20 now, left for the Friday and Saturday. So with that, we're going to jump into a session that should rock and roll. I know it's going to rock and roll. Backed by popular demand is Georgia McCabe, who is the social media empress and knows. And
Sensei.
There you go. And knows more things about social media, and especially the #1 fastest growing medium platform out there, which is called Pinterest. And we thought we should do some focusing. Georgia, by the way, is our featured afternoon speaker on Friday at the extravaganza. So really how to rock and roll with your branding. We are going to be doing a session because she's very interactive. So it's a lot of hands-on tools as we go into this. But we thought we would focus on Pinterest right now. And I guess, Georgia, I have 2 questions for you. 1, why are you so excited? And 2, what is it?
Okay.
How's that?
Maybe I should, why am I so excited?
Yeah.
First of all, I've seen it just absolutely be one of the fastest growing social sites around, Judith. And users are so addicted to it that they're actually spending 98 minutes a month. 98 minutes per month on there. I mean, it's addicting, whether they're pinning information about fashion or food, or, for instance, my daughter-in-law, or my future daughter-in-law, we've got a wedding in July. She can't get off of it. So, she's on there finding things in terms of what she could do for her rehearsal dinner, or what kind of flowers, or whatever. I mean, photographers are jumping on it. Moms who want to have craft ideas or find out information in terms of what they might be able to do with their children. People who are adopted to pets. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. And honestly, it's meteoric. The growth is unprecedented. And so a lot of people are saying, should we get on this? And so I think what I could cover a little bit is who should be on it, why, and then how they could use it. And
perfect. And with you saying that, it's perfect for me. And since you've already used one word that some of the people who are not familiar with Pinterest is, why don't we define what pinning is?
You got it. I guess the easiest way to kind of talk about Pinterest is first say that it's a social sharing platform, and in essence, it's a visual sharing social media platform. And what members do is they create what we call virtual albums around particular themes. In other words, they pin their interest. That's how they came up with the term Pinterest.
Got it.
So their pins are like virtual images, photos, graphics, illustrations, and they're collected and organized and placed in a very visual fashion on what we call virtual pin boards. And a way to draw the analogy, think of refrigerator magnets And, what I used to do is decorate the refrigerator maybe with a prize drawing or, something that, whether it was something that my kids did or whether it was a photo of something that was just like this visual refrigerator board or a cork board where, this is an article maybe that you would, and in fact, I just did this last week when I was coming off an airplane. I found something I like. I pulled it out. Right? And I stuck it in a folder. Well, now you don't have to stick those things in folders. And pretty much all the information that's out there on the web is now able to be pinned. But I'm going to go into that a little bit more later when we get into some of the definitions, because I think people are really going to want to know that.
Okay, perfect.
So I guess the first thing that, which is really, really surprising, well, maybe not surprising, but 87% of Pinterest users right now are women.
Yes.
And the other thing that's absolutely incredible is that they have a significant age range. And about 80% of the users are evenly distributed between the age of 25 and 54. So I guess I'm outside that norm because I'm not within that. And I'm not 24, so everybody can guess how old I am. But basically, it really has become the fastest standalone site in history. And they passed 10 million user mark, which just happened in January. So, if you look at it, it's about actually 87% female, Judith, and 13% male. And if you break it down, the 25 to 34-year-olds is about 27%. 35 to 40 is about 29%, and 45 to 54-year-olds is about 24%. So about 80 some odd percent is in that range from 25 to 54. Here's another, though, really interesting thing, is if you look at the demographics of income, I mean, the highest, which is it's pretty equally, and it's not too much of a difference. 37% of those people are making between $25,000 and $50,000 a year, and 33% are making between $50,000 and $75,000 a year, and even upwards of 13%, close to $100,000. So you got women, right, who are between 25 out of college maybe up to just, getting ready to, send their kids out on their own, 54, and really a nice income level. So, if you look at that and you think about your audience as an author, if you were, you have to take this in consideration, obviously, but I do think that very quickly that once males kind of understand it, they will jump on, but more importantly, Judith, is the brands are jumping on. Large companies like Whole Foods, Martha Stewart Living, I mean, on and on and on. So it's really, really incredible. The other reason why you need to be on it is we all want, good traffic driving to our website. So if we are an author and we have a book and we have our own website or a blog, according to Shareaholic, and this was based on actually, I think it was around 200,000 Yes. Oops. Are we still on?
No,
200,000 member publishers. Pinterest drives more referral traffic than Google+, LinkedIn, or YouTube combined. So that's just phenomenal. So if you look at all those other sites that are now driving traffic to your website, Pinterest, is driving the most traffic, more than Google+, more than LinkedIn, more than YouTube. So, to me, those demographics,
So, Georgia, explain to me again now, how many people are on Pinterest now?
There are, I want to say, and it's nothing like the 800 million users that are on Facebook, Judith, but I think the last number, hold on, let me just pull up my thing.
But number one is it's the fastest growing while you're looking that up.
Absolutely.
And then number two is what's critical here is that if you are writing as an author, if you have a book that women are going to be your primary buyers, you got to be here. There's no question about it. And for the romance writers, there is no exception. And when you brought up Martha Stewart, of course she would be all over this thing. Exactly. Of course, because of the visuals.
Right. I think, Judith, the latest number that I show, and this is according to ComScore, It hit 11.7 million unique monthly U.S. visitors in January, making it the standalone site in history to cross the 10 million mark. So it is growing by leaps and bounds. But again, remember what I said a little bit ago. Users are on that site for 98 minutes a month. So they're not like in, out, in, out. I mean, they're in there. They're engaging. They're searching. They're looking. So
when you say 98 minutes, it's 98 minutes at a crack. Is that what you're saying?
No,
or you're
total
talking cumulative? All right.
Yeah, cumulative.
Because I know a lot of people who spend a heck of a lot more than an hour and a half a month on Facebook.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the thing that I'm so excited about, and we can say this, after the break, but I think what we need to do is really, I'd like to go over a little bit of the lingo.
Good idea.
If that's okay. And then we'll go into how to make it work for you. And then we'll talk about specifically what some authors can do.
Well, that makes sense. So if we have about a minute before the break here. So if we can go ahead and start on that lingo. Okay. What are some of the unique terms that these unique visitors have discovered?
Okay. Well, before I do that, in order to be on Pinterest, you have to get an invite. Okay. So you can't just join. So for anybody that would like an invite, if they want to go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Georgia L. McCabe. Okay. And just send me, put a note on my wall, Georgia, I'd like an invite to Pinterest. I will send one out to all of them. And that's step one.
Okay, so here I just have a really question. Why wouldn't they open that up to everybody? What's this thing about the invitation that makes it?
I don't know, but that's an excellent question. I think, it might be part of their mystique. It's like, before you can get on, you have to be referred. You have to have a friend that says you're worth it. But I don't know. Or they may, quite honestly, from a technical perspective, may just trying to be control of the number of users they have. However, I mean, with their growth, it doesn't seem like they're rejecting anybody. Now, when I did sign up, which was a while back, it did take me. I mean, I didn't get an immediate acceptance to it. And now it's almost instantaneous.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to get into all that information and dealing with what's the unique vocabulary that Pinterest has. This is Judith Briles, my guest, Georgia McCabe, and we're talking social media.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at Author U, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Change the way you publish online. WaveCloud is a new form for authors to manage all their books' information in one place from start to finish, including pricing and listing summary. To learn more or sign up for email updates, visit wavecloud.com.
Every picture tells a story. And it's a truism that people do judge a book by its cover. Nick Sellinger and NZ Graphics have been in the business of producing superior graphic cover design and interior layout for self-published authors, independent and traditional publishers for years. He has developed a reputation for excellent work, fast turnarounds, and best of all, affordable pricing. NZ Graphics also produces ebooks and book marketing materials such as posters, sell sheets, postcards, bookmarks, business cards, logos, and more. Books designed for his clients have won multiple book awards, including Best Book Award by U.S. Book News, multiple Evie Awards from the Colorado Independent Publishers Association, Indie Book Awards, the San Francisco Book Festival Award, and Freedom Medal Award from Valley Forge. Visit www.nzgraphics.com or call 303-985-4174 for more details about making your book the success it should be. Mention that you are an FOJ, friend of Judith's, and that you heard about NZ Graphics on your guide to book publishing.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, we're back with Georgia McCabe, and as we come out from that first sponsor break, I always want to thank our sponsors because they really do make the show possible, and they are all going to be at the Extravaganza in Denver, Colorado, May 3 through 5. So this is a chance to meet face-to-face, pick their brains, get great information, as well as with our speakers, including the amazing Georgia McCabe, who's on the air with us now. And we are just getting ready to deep dive into the glossary of all things Pinterest.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously, mastering any new platform, Judith, they all have their own. I think Twitter is by far the worst. I remember when I first heard of a hashtag, I'm like, what in God's name is a hashtag, But, Pinterest has their own, but they kind of follow some of the other social media things. So the first term I want to tell everybody about is what I'll call a pin. And a pin is either an image or it can be a video. And you add this to Pinterest either by getting that image from a website. And the way Pinterest does it, it actually gives you images to choose from, or you can upload, from an actual computer. So in my case, one of the things that I have, because I have a golden doodle, I absolutely love him. And so I have Georgie, our golden doodle, and I've actually uploaded pictures, of him, whether we're at the cottage or, he's just goofing around or whatever. But in there, I also have the opportunity to put in other things like, I haven't done this yet, but he was kind of tough to train. So we ended up having to get this special training device, which I absolutely love. So I'd love to tell people about that. This worked very well, or there's a special, I've been able to teach him to ring the bell to go outside. Here's where you can get them. Or maybe there's a certain medical condition that I have to worry about. So there's an article about that. So that's what we call a pin. Another example would be for my new book that's coming out, Short Woman, Tall Order. Now, remember, my board, this is another term.
Yeah, board is a good term.
Right? Board is a set of pins. So a set of images or videos under a specific topic. So one you and I share in common is we love food. We love to cook. Mm-hmm. Right? So you could have one, yum recipes. Now, an important thing to note, when you set up your board's names, you do not want to have something that's just cryptic, like things I love, or you want to make that as descriptive as possible, because what we're finding is they're starting to get picked up by Google. So when I met the author I'm going to go and dive right into that deep and show people how they can do that. But think of if you're an author, and let's talk about you, or we could talk about me, and think about what kind of topics would describe who Judith Briles is. I happen to see your board. I know you love to cook. I know you love to be in the sun. You love to travel. I noticed that you have your organization, Author U, and all the wonderful things you're doing with authors. But imagine if you could have a board on, maybe you have things like your writing tools or tricks. I mean, anything that users can start to see and experience the Judith Briles. Or if you have, my God, you've got what, 22 books, 23 books?
30.
I mean, 30, oh my God.
We're just hitting 30.
Right. So, think about the one which I absolutely love, your book on, oh gosh, I should know this off. Oh, the one about women.
Sabotage. Sabotage.
Imagine the kinds of, like, you could have a board in there on quotes. Things that you brought up, or even some of the research that you did. You could have links to some of that, or, the list goes on and on and on. So how would you describe not only who you are, what you use to be the kind of author you are, the kind of businesswoman you are, but then your tricks of the trade, the things that allow us to get more into the head of Judith Briles.
Oh, what's really cool, you're giving me ideas. So, and this is what's so great about this show, because you're working ideas and what you'll be doing at the extravaganza. So you're right. I love cooking. I made a killer shrimp scampi the other night. Fabulous. So I should put that up. Now I'm going to have to start taking pictures of this stuff, Georgia.
Right.
And then for the Book Shepherd's favorite clients, like we have a couple of new books that just came in. They're gorgeous. The covers are gorgeous. The authors have worked extraordinarily hard. They're experts in their field. One is Dr. Michael Lamb's book on the adrenal fatigue syndrome. It's an amazing book. And the other one just came in today. It's called Sexual Addiction, which deals with, impacts so many people with what's going on, and it's one couple's journey to recovery. And it's an amazing, really vulnerable story of how they went through it and out of it, and survived and are now thriving. And then we've got, some of these other amazing books. I have an email from one of our AuthorU members that she has created this book that's all about all the wineries in Colorado, and then she's rocking and rolling around the state. And that would be so much fun to write about, my favorite books as a book shepherd, and then just, what's going on AuthorU. So there's just great things that you can do. So it's finding those interests and then really just learning how to maneuver and work through the scene.
Right. I mean, even with a woman that's, doing the wineries, in Colorado, oh my God, my mind would go 100 miles an hour there. I mean, you could have something like, favorite foods to pair with certain wines. I mean, it doesn't have to be just about the wineries. Her love is wine, right? And so, and there's tons of wine enthusiasts out there. Well, what do you think about? Heck, you can, I just posted something on one of my boards, which is, kind of do-it-yourself things. And one of the things I pinned was from wine corks. You can actually make these little stick things that you put into your garden, like the type of flower it is, or this is basil, this is parsley, and I mean, you can make wine trivets, you can make wine, so yeah, there's just so many possibilities. And so what this is allowing her to do is to educate, her followers, her people, by, showing all other aspects of what her expertise is. So, your mind, once you start, and I would encourage a lot of people just to really start to look at some other boards. Like for me, I'm getting ready to launch Short Woman Tall Order. Well, I have a lot of comical things in there, and so I have things that make me laugh. But they're all quotes that are funny quotes about women. And I mean, one of them, and it's been repinned a ton of times, or there's two of them, it says it's two little girls, one standing on a scale. And the little girl says, "See, it doesn't hurt." And the other little girl goes, "So why does mommy always cry when she steps on it?" I mean, you could just find the funniest things. Well, people like that, and I'll come into it in a second, and I'll give you another term. They repin it. tips to reduce weight's another funny thing. Turn your head to the right, turn your head to the left, repeat the exercise every time you are offered something to eat. So I have a little comment under there called dining room exercise tip. So obviously if people were looking at things that make me laugh and they can see I post a lot of weight things, they're probably saying, oh boy, Georgia really wants to go on a diet here or whatever. So I've started to think about, in my book, all the things that I talk about and creating boards around those chapters, boards around those themes, boards around who Georgia is. Okay, so I talk in there how I love to cook. I talk about how, I try to juggle 100 million things at one time. So that's what a board is. That's what pinning is. Let's go to the last one, and that is called a repin. So it's similar to a retweet on Twitter. Users can retweet or repin items they come across that other users have pinned and add that to the board. So by doing that, you're basically saying, wow, I really like this, okay? It's like a Facebook post. You like it, right? You might just say, well, I like it. Well, here, people will see on their boards, well, this particular pin has been repinned 15, 20 times. Well, think about how valuable that is, Judith, as you start to look at what people are doing and how you can get an insight into what your follower and fans really like.
It's so how do they, let me just say, so how do they come about? And I know we've got a minute here before we go into our next break, but how do they find you to do this repinning? Do they become like fans of yours? They automatically go to there? What's that mechanism?
Okay, so in Pinterest, there's a number of ways that you can do that. First of all, you want to make sure that you've actually set your profile up. So mine says I got my picture there. I'd say where I'm from. I have my website. I have my Twitter. I have my Facebook. Where I'm located. Have a little bit of information about me. And then what happens is when you pin things, that it's almost like Facebook where you have a news stream. What happens is that people you are following or are following you will start to see their pins of what's coming up. But people can also search for you as a name, or they can sometimes go in and under topics, like within Pinterest. I wish I had a visual here.
Okay.
Oh, look how.
Well, that's okay. But so when we come back, and we're going to have Nick Zellinger on for a few minutes, who does covers and designs. But then we'll come back to this because I'm really interested in how they come and find you and look for you, and they can repeat that. So,
okay.
All right. So this is Judith Briles. Georgia McCabe's my guest.
It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you with a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
Do you need postcards that make a statement? How about business cards, flyers, brochures, or NCR forms? Tuvets is the solution for all your printing needs. Providing services specially designed for authors, we deliver exceptional quality colored printing. Most important of all, we specialize in reducing your printing costs. No more waiting. No more standing in lines at your local printer. Online proofing. With our pricing tools calculator, you can get instant quotes on all your printing products, as well as shipping rates all over the United States. Just a few clicks of the mouse and you're on the way to discovering how easy and convenient online color printing should be. Contact our friendly, human account representatives. We recognize that you want answers, not voice prompts. Visit our website at www.tu-vets.com or call 1-800-894-8977.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Oh, I always think that if you could only hear the side conversations we have with our guests during the time. But what we have, before we jump back to Georgia, I have Nick Zellinger with us. And Nick is one of my favorite cover designers. He's one of my favorite interior layout people. He's just, it's just so creative with what he comes up with, different ideas. And Nick is one of our sponsors. He also is going to do a stellar rock and roll program at the Extravaganza on interiors, exteriors. And what people don't know, he is an author himself, and he plays a wild and mean guitar. And with that, Nick, welcome to the show.
Hello, Judith.
So
well, it'd be hard to live up to that now.
Okay, so what are you going to tell us? Give us a couple of tips in a couple of minutes here on whether it's covers or design or things to avoid, or where are we going today?
Well, I think, and the gist for my program is going to be for the Extravaganza is going to be try to get authors, take them through the entire process of cover and interior design in as fast of a rock and roll form as I can. But I think, the big trend right now, obviously, is get your e-books done before maybe print. A lot of authors are trying to do that. And I think it's really important for a designer and an author to understand that where that book's going to end up, if it's just going to be in a digital format. But I think you should always assume that you're going to do a print run of the book. So you should always design your cover to be print ready in terms of the size. You can always adapt it to the ebook cover size a little later or a little smaller because it's a different configuration. So it's good to get that version first because it'll save the author money because the designer won't have to reinvent the wheel by doing two different versions. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty important.
That's very important, and there is a difference. Maybe you can talk about this. There is some tweaking and differences between a printed book cover, and that ebook format, and it has a lot to do with how much detail you put on them.
That's very true. I mean, first of all, your print book is going to either be a variety of sizes, whether it's 5.5, 8.5, or 6x9, which are more obviously vertical orientations. For most ebook covers, whether it goes on the iPad or Kindle or Nook, is measured in pixels, which is approximately 600 by 800. So you've almost got a square image there. So your design's going to be compromised a little bit from that, and you have limited real estate. So, and obviously the first thing a potential buyer ever sees in any cover is going to be pretty much a thumbnail view if they're going online. So it's a pretty small view. So you've got to keep in mind, how do I get the most impact? How can I spark the interest? How can it pop? So my first suggestion always is type, and brevity is your friend. So play with strong font sizes, and of course that also means choose a title that is possibly not too wordy. Has a title that has more dynamics and impact, so that you can, when the viewer sees your cover for the first time, they're first struck by a strong title and strong contrast, whether it's in color, and almost keep imagery to a minimum, unless of course you're doing some sort of fiction book, which is there's kind of other rules apply to that.
Mm-hmm. Great. All right. So Nick will be speaking at the extravaganza on Saturday, if I recall correctly. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Right after lunch, I think.
All right. So he will wake us up, and he also has a surprise for us on Friday night. So all of you who are listening, please get yourself to sign up. We only have 20 seats left for Friday and Saturday, the 4th and 5th, and you register at authoru.org. All right, Nick, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Judith.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
We're back to pinning our lives away here, and versus pining.
Right.
All right.
So maybe what I should do is just review those things again, or do you have? Okay.
Nope. Go ahead and do a quick review.
So pin. It's an image or a video that you either add from a website or from your computer. So an example might be, this recipe on cupcakes.com looks so good, I have to pin it. So if you found something, that has it, you just pin that. Repin. An example of that's similar to a retweet on Twitter, and users can repin items they come across that other users have pinned. So if you saw a recipe, Judith, that I did, you could hit the repin button, you could like it, or you could comment on it. So you could add the comment, this cupcake recipe Sarah found looks great, I'm going to repin it. So you don't want to just pin and not put some sort of description. An example for that, taking that cupcake thing, the board, I'm pinning so many cupcake recipes, I should just make a cupcake board. So that would be the name of what you can do it. So those are the basics that you need to know. You pin it, you repin it, and you have your board of all those visual things.
All right, so is there a limitation to the number of boards that you can have?
I am not sure. I know I've seen someone today that has well over 200.
All right,
That's another good research question.
All right, well, who has time to research 200? All right, so then the second question I have is that, let's say that you start developing a lot of people who are either following or you want to follow. Is there a mechanism in Pinterest that will allow you to do groups, and that you could go about, and so you could go, when you're in on your own board, you can quickly go after it?
Not sure I understand your question. Are you saying go after like on Twitter list, that type of thing?
Well, when you're in Pinterest, when you go up, do you just put someone's name in once you've discovered them?
There's a couple. Oh, okay, gotcha. So there's a couple ways you can do that, Judith. First of all, when you log into Pinterest, it'll actually come up and tell you, they'll suggest people that they think you should follow. Mm-hmm. So just a few minutes ago, I just got 3 more people, and they're saying, you should follow Rhonda Price. You should follow John Boyd. Now, I don't know these people at all. Mm-hmm. Underneath, then you'll see kind of the recent activity. But the other thing that you can do is on the search thing, I could put in, Judith Briles, or I could put in author you, and you can actually search by either a person's name or a topic. So let's say I want to search on cupcakes, let's just say. Just key in cupcakes. And then what will happen when I did that on that term, I can see all the pins will appear on cupcakes. Or I could see all the boards on cupcakes. Mm-hmm. Or I could even go to people and see the people and that's going to, you'll see this one. It's called Cupcakes Forever. Emily Cupcakes, Mohawk Cupcakes, Cupcakes Couture. So, one of my clients that I have is actually, and you may say, I don't get it, Georgia, but one of my clients is a very, very large national skincare line, and they came out with a whole new series of fragrances. And one of their fragrances is called Cupcake Couture. And so we actually go in here and we, people who love the smell of cupcakes, we're posting stuff on cupcakes all over. They have another one which is called, I think it's called Orchid Bloom. We've built a whole number of boards on, things that, are part of the ingredients, what some of the benefits of them are, So it's just so exciting how you can do all of these different things. So you could do that. There's also, Judith, there's tools that are coming out like mad. And, I'm sure you either use TweetDeck or you use Hootsuite. Well, now there's tools for Pinterest. And there's actual ones that will actually allow you to go in and it will actually come back to you and it will locate this one site called Pinnerly, Pinerly. I'm going to show this at Author U. And what this does is you're able to locate other users that are interested in your same topics. You can then unfollow groups of pinners you no longer want to follow. And what this allows you to do is to really keep your stream focused. In addition to letting users, you can also use it to actually schedule pins throughout the day. One of the things I don't like is when I see people and they're just like pinning. So this tool, it's free, allows you to actually schedule those out. So that's kind of cool.
Well, that is cool. So, and is that free? Does that cost?
Yep. Nope. Free. Pinnerly. Oh, there's so many tools, Judith. I mean, they have one called Spin Pics, because sometimes people might want to have a picture, you have to have a picture to post. And this one actually allows users to browse the web for interesting, worthy images. And then they go in to create a common database on Instagram, YouTube, Flickr, and it also, brings those up as potential images. They have the other one that I really like which is very simple, but we all should consider, is on our email. I don't know if I have one. I use a thing called YStamp, and what it allows you to do is under your email signature, you can put like a picture, information about. Oh, yeah, you do have it.
You should. Yes.
And so there's one where you can actually say, "Follow me on Pinterest," right on your email.
Well, I think that's a good thing to add on that. And you know what? I don't have that on it because I'm a newbie in Pinterest. But I'm not going to be.
And you'll be an expert.
Yeah,
you'll be an expert after Author U.
Exactly, as will all our attendees. All right, we're going to be back. This is kind of like the guide to Pinterest today. This is Judith Briles. My guest is Georgia McCabe, and you're listening to your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Writing and reading are moving to the cloud. WaveCloud represents a whole new community for writers and readers to connect, communicate, evaluate, and share. Writers hone their craft and build their business. Readers build their favorites. Sign up for updates at wavecloud.com.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at MyBookShepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, with all this going on, that I guess the most important question is really to ask right now is, how do you make Pinterest work for you? So, Georgia, how do we do that?
Okay, so I'm going to go through, again, I'm going to dive into this very deep at Author U, and so if you haven't signed up, you should sign up, because this is going to be very, very exciting, because I'm going to have it live, and actually, though, you all will have internet connections, so we might even have an ability to have some fun and some little contests going on. So the first thing, obviously, Judith, is they need to make sure it's a fit. And as we talked about those demographics, right, it's mostly women right now, what those age groups are. If you were selling life insurance, I wouldn't suggest that Pinterest is a good fit. For me, for what I do with my social media and also with my books, whether it's Social Morphosis or the one you and I are working on, Short Woman, Tall Order, it's perfect. Those are my demographics. Spot on. Then the next thing, and I'm going to show people how to do this, is you're going to want to add a pin it button to your website. And this makes it easy for people to actually pin content. And there's a tool that I think it's called Sexy Bookmarks, and it now has the ability, let's say on a blog post, Judith, that you're writing, you can actually, there's a pin it button, just like it is retweet or post to Facebook, stuff like that. So you're going to want to do that. You want to get very visual, and that's, I think, part of the addiction to the site, is that it is so visual, and it just allows you to just constantly explore, and so what you want to make sure that you do is that, look at what's getting repinned, and then bump up your quality a little bit.
So what people are repinning, you want to repin more of, or you want to post more of?
The kinds of the topics or something. So like if I go into my board right now, I have one which it's called I Am Woman. And what this is it's really just a list of quotes. And people love quotes. I mean, I see that on Facebook. I see that on Twitter all the time. And pretty much I am guaranteed if I put something out there, it will get, repinned or commented on. And I do this because, I talk about relationships in my book, and I said a relationship with no trust is like a car with no gasoline. You can stay in it all you want, but it won't go anywhere. And people love these things. And what people also do is when they see that, they'll say, oh, I'm repinning this one. Oh, my God, this is right up my alley. And so, that's what you want to do. So I can see that this happens to be one of the biggest ones that people are retweeting. But the other cool thing is I can actually go in and see activity. So I can actually see who's doing that, which is very, very cool. The other one, believe it or not, that gets a ton, and so I can see that a lot of the people that are following me, they love dogs. So of just about anything that I put in about our dog, it gets repinned. I would say the least one that I'm getting is my ideal R&R spot. And here I have like these visual things of how I want this outdoor bathtub surrounded by luscious, lavish,
I just repinned it.
Okay, so now that one's going up. So that's I love that. So I'm losing my train of thought. I get talking so much. No, that's okay. That's okay. So you want to do that. You want to promote more than products. And I tell everybody this. Social media is not a place that you do hardcore sales. Okay? This is about relationship marketing. This is about people having two-way conversations, engaging with each other. Nothing will turn people off more than if all you're out there doing, same on Twitter, same on Facebook, same on Pinterest, buy, okay? So I really want people to resist the urge to only pin products that they sell, okay? Try posting news or tips or products from other companies, that are tied to what you're doing. Like, for instance, Judith, you could do a lot with some of your partners, right? I mean, you have terrific sites where, you can get, a lot of the stuff that's available in Author U. So you could use that with a nice comment under there. Here's my favorite, publishing companies. Or get the latest and greatest tips from one of the best designers, for book covers, the gentleman that was just on, and actually maybe take something from his site and put that up. Okay, so you're starting to refer, okay, and it will come back and benefit you in the same way, and I'm not suggesting you wouldn't have your book for sale on here. You could, but we just don't want to have that only, all right? And again, and in fact, to that extent, I just posted something today on Facebook, and they surveyed 21% of users on Pinterest have purchased an item they found on the site. So to me, this totally speaks in volumes to the whole concept of referral marketing, right? So if I'm sitting there and I see something and you and I both share our love for cooking, right?
Right.
And you find this most awesome cooking tool that, helps you. Gadgets.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That makes the best pie things or whatever, right? And you put it up there and you recommend it. I will buy that. I would go, wow, what is this? I will look at it. Judith says it works. Okay. Boom. So, you really, that's what's really cool. And again, I hate to keep saying this. It's just because I'm not online right now. I'll show people how they can actually put a price tag on something that they do want to sell. So if they have an ebook or they have their book themselves, they can do that. But let's just be cautious of how much we do that.
Well, I could say this as Judith Briles, the book shepherd, that when there are some books that I've worked on that I really know will make a difference in a lot of people's life. It's not just a job, you fall in love with it, and you really can get how to do it. I would have no qualms about recommending this book. Or, for example, Paula Mitchell's book that I was talking about, the Colorado wineries, that's coming out. If you're headed to Colorado and it's summertime, this is the book that should be your guidebook as you drive through the mountains and over to Grand Junction, where a lot of wineries are, plus other sides. It's perfect.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
Exactly. I mean, that's what, and again, think of that for your business, Judith, how you now, through your board, okay, are much easier, quite honestly, than writing a blog post. You're helping the authors that you've worked with, okay?
No, I love to do that.
Right. I mean, that's just a huge advantage. So, it's just, I could go on and on and on. The other thing that I would strongly urge, this is kind of, step number 5 in the beginner's guide to Pinterest, learn from the heavyweights. So follow some big names. Get a sense of what they're doing, and watch and learn from them. So I know we only have a few minutes left, but I thought it would be good to kind of dive into some examples and maybe you and I just strategize.
Perfect.
On something. So let's go back to someone who's writing about romance. Okay? And it can be nonfiction, right? What type of boards, let's just think about it, let's strategize it. What type of boards would you want to create?
Well, I would have, if it's romance, that I would have a board actually on great places to take a date. You know, from first date, I would have places to do a makeup.
Yeah.
And when you've screwed up, I would think about, it could be great wines or great places to vacation. I mean, all those kind of things on romance.
Gift ideas.
And I would do gift ideas. I would have dinners, lunches, breakfasts, any type of things food, because romance and food does go together.
Right.
And so I would do it. You could have a poll of what's the best chocolate to receive. It probably is not going to be Russell Stover, but it would be
right.
You know, what are the things that you would like to see? What's the most romantic flower that you can give? I would try to create a dialogue going, what's the most romantic thing that's ever happened to you? And it could be so off the wall that you don't even expect it. And I mean, that's how I would start playing around with
candles, right? You could have candles.
Yeah.
I mean, the list could go on and on and on. You could have candles. You could even have a board dedicated to different types of hearts. You know?
Right.
I mean, the possibilities are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, in fact, Alex Carroll, one of my friends, literally he collects stones, and he's been collecting stones that he finds on beaches and pebbles that are shaped like hearts. He actually put them together as a clock, and he sold these things for a couple $100. Who would have known?
Quotes, right? Romance quotes.
Yes. Stories, favorite romantic books, favorite romantic movies, and of course, you know, the one that Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks in.
Right, exactly.
Will be certainly in that top 10.
Or romance novels.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what you're doing and what you've just done here is you've just said, okay, you take that topic and then you start to think about all the different ways that you can pretty much, it's like a mind map, right? And I'm sure
Yes.
people are familiar with doing a mind map. That would, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
You got phones going. Yeah.
That would be my idea of how, to do that.
So, here, George, because we're going to have to wrap up here, but here's what I want to say is that if you're trying to be romantic with someone, probably not to have your cell phone go off. With that, this is Judith Briles. You've been listening to George McCabe. Next week, we'll have another great show. Mary Barnett, brilliant mobile marketing on how to market your books using your cell phone, will join us. We'll be back again. Have a great week.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles.